Hello, my dear students. Welcoming you all back for this online lectures. So, today we are going to start with the topic Elements of Group 13, 14, and 15. That is the chapter 9th of your chemistry textbook. Students, on the slide, you all can see a modern periodic table. We have already learnt about modern periodic table in chapter number 7. So a modern periodic table consists of 4 blocks, namely S block, D block, P block and F block element. We have studied the electronic configuration and characteristic of all the blocks. So today let us just revise about this characteristics and electronic configuration. The elements of S block will have their last electron filled in the S subshell. Then the block element consists of two groups, namely group 1 and group 2. Group 1 is called as alkali metal and group 2 is called as alkaline earth metal. So students, over here you all can see in dark blue, so lithium, sodium, potassium and so on, these are the alkali metals, whereas the ones which you all can see in light blue, that is beryllium, magnesium, calcium and so on, they are alkaline earth metals. So these two metals, these two elements belong to the S block element. Talking about P block elements, so the last electron in the P block elements is filled in the P subshell. The P block contain elements of group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Students, these P block elements are also the traditional type of elements. As you all can see that the P block consists of metals, non-metals and metalloids as well. The elements in pink are metals, whereas the elements in green are non-metals, and the elements which separate the pink colored elements and the green colored elements, that is boron, silicon and so on, so these are metalloids. So metalloids are those elements which have the characteristic of both metals and non-metals. Coming towards the D block elements, so the elements which you all can see in orange color are D block elements. Now these D block elements are serving as a bridge for S block and P block, and that is why they are called as transition elements, or they are also called as transition metals. They are called as transition metals because all the elements that are present in D block are metals. Then students, the elements which you all can see at the bottom of the periodic table, these are the F block elements which are divided into lanthanoids and actinoids. These elements are highly radioactive and they are man-made elements. So students, this was about all the 4 kinds of elements, that is all the 4 kinds of blocks that are present in the modern periodic table. Now my dear students, let us study more about the P block elements. So students, as you all know that the P block elements are present at the extreme right hand side of the modern periodic table. P block elements are those elements where the differentiating electrons means the valence electrons, the last electrons enter the outermost p orbital. So they are the P block element. Students, while studying modern periodic table, we have already come to know that S block element can accommodate only 2 electrons, whereas D block elements can accommodate 10 electrons. P block elements will accommodate 6 electrons and F block elements can accommodate 14 electrons. So my dear students, over here the P block element will accommodate 6 electrons in its outermost P subshell. The P block element contains a total of 6 groups. Group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. My dear students, in this chapter we will be studying about group 13, 14 and 15 elements. We know that P block element contains 6 groups in all. So now let us study the elements of all these 6 groups. So the first group of P block element is group 13. Group 13 contains the element boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. So students, as boron is the first element of group 13, that is why it is also called as the boron family. Let us come to group 14. So the first element of group 14 is carbon, followed by silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Students, as carbon is the first element of group 14, that is why it is also called as a carbon family. Then coming to group 15. So the group 15 consists of the elements nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. So all these 5 belong to group 15, and as nitrogen is the first element of group 15, that is why it is also called as nitrogen family. So students, in today's chapter, we are mainly going to focus only on the elements of group 13, 14 and 15. We are going to study its electronic configuration, some chemical properties and molecular structure. But students, let us not forget to recall some other groups of P block elements as well. So the fourth group is the group 16, which consists of the elements oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. Let us come to group 17 now. So group 17 is the group of halogens. The first halogen is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and the last is astatine. The elements of group 18 are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. My dear students, they are also called as noble gases as they are non-reactive and they have their outermost orbit complete. That is why they are called as noble gases or also called as inert gases. Students, over here you all can see that the elements are being colored into 3 shades. So the buff color which you all can see for the elements, all these are metals. Then the green color which you all can see in the form of a zigzag line, these all are metalloids. Whereas the pink color which you all can see, these are the non-metals. So P block elements are basically divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. The next very important topic of elements of group 13, 14 and 15 is electronic configuration of elements of group 13, 14 and 15, where we are going to study about the condensed electronic configuration of each element. The elements of group 13 are also called as boron family. The elements that belong to group 13 or the boron family are boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium, and their respective atomic numbers are 5, 13, 31, 49 and 81. So my dear students, over here you all can observe that as we go down the group, the atomic number of the elements goes on increasing. That is because a new shell is being added down the group. And the condensed electronic configuration of group 13 or the boron family is given on the right hand side. Whenever we write the condensed electronic configuration, we are writing the condensed electronic configuration in such a way that the noble gas preceding the particular element is written followed by the remaining electronic configuration. Now my dear students, See the element boron. The atomic number of boron is 5 and the electronic configuration of boron is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So instead of 1s2, helium is being written. That is, when you are writing the condensed electronic configuration, the preceding noble gas element is being written. So as we know that 1s2 of the boron is being replaced by He because the electronic configuration of helium is also 1s2. Similarly, students, for aluminium, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. We know that the electronic configuration of neon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. So instead of that, we are writing Ne, that is neon, and a remaining electronic configuration of the aluminium is written behind neon. Similarly, for gallium, so the preceding noble gas for gallium is argon. The preceding noble gas for indium is krypton and the preceding noble gas for thallium is xenon. And in this way, the preceding noble gases are being written followed by the remaining electronic configuration. Now students, over here you all might have noticed one thing, that for boron the outer electronic configuration is 2s2 2p1. For aluminium it is 3s2 3p1. For gallium it is 4s2 4p1. For indium it is 5s2 5p1. For thallium it is 6s2 6p1. So my dear students, the general outer electronic configuration for group 13 can also be written as ns2 np1. So when we are talking in terms of boron, it will be 2s2 2p1. So students, over here n is the principal quantum number, and as we go down the group, the principal quantum number increases by 1 unit. So for boron it will be 2, for aluminium it will be 3, for gallium it will be 4, and so on. My dear students, you all can see that in the valence shell there are 3 electrons for group 13, that is the boron family. 2 are occupied by the S subshell and 1 is occupied by the P subshell. Carbon family. The elements of group 14 are also called as the carbon family. The elements of carbon family are carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Students, over here this element Sn represents tin and Pb represents lead. Their atomic number respectively are 6, 14, 32, 50 and 82. Students, even in group 14, you all can see as you move down the group, the atomic number goes on increasing. The condensed electronic configuration of group 14 is shown in this table over here, that is in the dark blue color. So students, as you all know that the electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2 as carbon is having the atomic number 6. Similarly, for silicon it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2 and so on. So for germanium, you all can see that the noble gas is argon. For tin, you all can see that the noble gas is krypton. And for lead, you all can see that the noble gas is xenon. So similar to group 13, the noble gases preceding the particular element is being written and that is followed by the remaining electronic configuration. Now my dear students, if you look carefully, then the outermost shell of carbon has 2s2 2p2. The outermost valence shell of silicon is 3s2 3p2. For germanium it is 4s2 4p2. For tin it is 5s2 5p2 and for lead it is 6s2 6p2. So my dear students, the general outer electronic configuration for group 14 can be also represented by Ns2Np2, where N is the principal quantum number. So as you come down the group, the quantum number increases by 1 unit. And students, you all can see that the valence shell have total of 4 electrons. 2 in the S subshell and 2 in the P subshell. So its general electronic configuration is Ns2Np2. Nitrogen family. The elements of group 15 belong to the nitrogen family. The elements of group 15 are nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Students, over here this Sb represents antimony. Their atomic numbers are: nitrogen has 7 atomic number, phosphorus 15, arsenic 33, antimony 51 and bismuth has the atomic number of 83. Similar to group 13 and 14, even the atomic number of group 15 increases down the group. My dear students, the condensed electronic configuration of the nitrogen family is: for nitrogen it is helium 2s2 2p3, for phosphorus it is neon 3s2 3p3, for arsenic it is argon 3d10 4s2 4p3, for antimony it is krypton 4d10 5s2 5p3, and for bismuth it is xenon 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p3. So my dear students, if you look carefully, then the general outer electronic configuration for group 15 will be Ns2Np3. So for nitrogen it is the principal quantum number will be 2, for phosphorus it will be 3 and so on. As you all can see that for nitrogen the valence shell is 2s2 2p3, for phosphorus it is 3s2 3p3 and so on. So here you all can see that the outermost valence shell is having 5 electrons. So there are total 5 electrons in the outermost shell, and that is why its electronic configuration is Ns2Np3. There is a problem that is given on page 123 of your chemistry textbook. Let us solve this problem. Atomic numbers of the group 13 elements are in the order boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Arrange these elements in increasing order of ionic radii of M3 plus ion. Now my dear students, we know that as we move down the group, the atomic number goes on increasing. So when we talk about group 13 elements, the atomic number of thallium is observed to be the highest, whereas that of boron is the lowest. Now we are told to arrange these elements in increasing order of ionic radii of M3+. Now students, what do we understand by ionic radii or ionic radius? So it is basically the distance of valence shell of electrons from the center of nucleus in an ion. So now students, let us come to the solution. We know that group 13 has general outer electronic configuration of Ns2Np1. Means in all there are total 3 electrons in its valence shell. So when one electron is being removed from the valence shell of a metal, it acquires M plus charge. When 2 electrons are being removed, it will acquire 2 plus charge. So basically, when 3 electrons are being removed, it will acquire M3 plus charge. And as group 13 elements are having 3 electrons in its valence shell, so when all these 3 electrons are being removed from its valence shell, it will occupy or it will acquire M3 plus charge. Now, my dear students, we have already studied in modern periodic table that the outermost shell is represented by small n. Then the shell which is inner to this outermost shell is represented by n minus 1. The inner to inner shell is represented by n minus 2. So when a particular atom acquires M3 plus charge, it means that the outermost shell is being removed. That is, the outermost shell N is being removed, and now the new outermost shell which is formed is N minus 1 shell. So for neutral atom, N is the outermost shell, and for M3 plus, N minus 1 shell will become the outermost shell. So we know that as the atomic number increases, the size of the shell also increases. So when it is a neutral atom, the outermost shell, that is N, will increase down the group. So it is but obvious that the size of N minus 1 shell will also increase down the group. And that is why the ionic radius M3 plus will also increase down the group in the order of boron 3 plus, aluminium 3 plus, gallium 3 plus, indium 3 plus and thallium 3 plus. So the ionic radius of thallium will be more as compared to that of boron. Let us now see the second problem. So the second problem is why the atomic radius of gallium is less than that of aluminium. Students, we have already studied in modern periodic table that the atomic radius of an element increases down the group. This is because there is addition of a new shell that takes place down the group. Now students, aluminium and gallium both belong to group 13. And if you all see properly, then while going down the group, aluminium comes first and then gallium comes. So ideally speaking, aluminium should have lesser atomic radius as compared to that of gallium. But that is not the case. Now why is it so? So we know that the electronic configuration of aluminium is neon 3s2 3p1, whereas that of gallium is argon 3d10 4s2 4p1. Gallium has more number of shells as compared to aluminium. If we see that aluminium is not having a d electron, or it is not having a d subshell, whereas gallium is having a d subshell. But my dear students, you all need to note that the order of shielding is the strongest for S subshell, then for the P, then D, and then for the F subshell. So my dear students, you all have to note that the S subshell has a greater shielding power as compared to that of the D subshell. Atomic number of aluminium is 13, whereas that of gallium is 31. So both have a difference of 18 electrons in them. Gallium has the nuclear charge 18 times that of the aluminium. That is, it has 18 units more than that of aluminium. So ideally speaking, the atomic radius of gallium should be more. But my dear students, due to the presence of d electrons, the atomic radius of gallium is less, because my dear students, the d electrons are not able to shield themselves properly. That is, the d electrons offer poor shielding effect to the outer 4s and 4p electrons. And as gallium has increased nuclear charge, that is why the effect of attraction is experienced prominently by the outer electrons, that are the 4s and 4p electrons, and that is why the atomic radius of gallium becomes smaller than that of aluminium, due to the failure of d subshell to shield the outer 4s and 4p electrons. And hence the nucleus of gallium will attract the valence 4s and 4p electrons with a. Students, now let us study about the physical properties of elements of group 13. The physical properties involve the atomic radius of group 13 elements, the ionic radius, the ionization enthalpy, the electronegativity. My dear students, atomic radius, ionic radius, ionization enthalpy, electronegativity, these terms are not new to you all. You all have already studied about it in modern periodic table. They are also called as the periodic trains in physical properties. Atomic radius is half of the internuclear distance between two adjacent atoms that we measure. When we talk about ionic radius, it is the distance of the valence shell of electrons from the center of the nucleus of an ion. Ionization enthalpy is nothing but the energy that is required to remove an electron from its isolated gaseous state. And when we talk about electronegativity, it is the ability or the tendency of a covalently bonded atom to attract the shared electron towards itself is the electronegativity. So we have already studied about it. Now let us see these physical properties in group 13 elements. You all can see in column 2nd and column 3rd that as you move across the group, that is as you move down the group, the atomic number and the atomic mass of the element goes on increasing. So you all can see that the atomic number of boron is 5, whereas that of thallium is 81. The atomic mass of boron is 10.81, whereas that of thallium is 204.38. Now let us talk about the ionic atomic radius. So you all can see that the atomic radius of boron is 88. The atomic radius of aluminium is 143. But the atomic radius of gallium is 135. Ideally, the atomic radius should be larger than that of aluminium, but it is not the case. As we have studied in problem 9.2 that the electronic configuration of gallium is argon 3d10 4s2 4p1. So there is inner d electron that is present in gallium which offers poor shielding effect, and that is why the valence shell electron of gallium experience greater nuclear attraction, and that is why the atomic radius of gallium is less than that of aluminium. Then talking about the ionic radius, so it is but obvious that if the atomic radius of gallium is lesser than that of aluminium, then the ionic radius will also be lesser than that of aluminium, as ionic radius is nothing but the distance of valence shell from the of electrons from the center of the nucleus. Now students, let us study the ionization enthalpy. Now students, if you will look carefully, then you all can see that for boron, the first ionization energy is 801. The second ionization enthalpy is 2427, whereas the third ionization enthalpy is 3659. Now my dear students, you all can observe this for all the elements of group 13 that the first ionization energy is less than the second. The second ionization enthalpy is less than that of third. And my dear students, that is because the ionization enthalpy is the energy that is required to remove an electron from its isolated gaseous atom. So when an electron is removed from the gaseous atom, so less energy is being required. But for the second ionization enthalpy is more than the first because it involves the removal of electron from a positively charged species, whereas the third ionization enthalpy is larger than second because it involves the removal of electron from a positively charged species with +2 charge. So students, you all can see that the ionization enthalpy goes on increasing. Then the last is electronegativity. You all can see for boron the electronegativity is 2, but from aluminium to thallium again the electronegativity decreases. Now students, this is because the nuclear charge increases, but simultaneously the number of shells in the atoms also increase. the effective nuclear charge decreases down the group, resulting in increased atomic size, and that is why it becomes difficult to add an electron to a larger atom. And that is why, students, the electronegativity, you all can see that it has decreased from aluminium. The next topic is trends in atomic and physical properties of elements of group 13, 14 and 15. So students, we will be studying one by one. So first we will be studying the trends in atomic and physical properties of group 13 elements. Group 13 elements, they show wide variations in their properties. Now we know the elements of group 13, that is boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. The pictures of which you all can see on the slide. Talking about boron, boron is a metalloid. Now my dear students, you all must be aware about what is metalloid. Metalloids are those elements which have both the characteristics of metal as well as non-metal. It is glossy. Students, glossy means it is having luster, that is it is having shine, and it is hard solid like metal but poor electrical conductor, that is its electrical conductivity is very less. Other than boron, group 13 consists of aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. Students, the pictures of these elements you all can see on this slide. They are fairly reactive metals, that is its reactivity is not very high, not very less. It is moderate, or you can say it is fairly reactive. Students, you all are familiar to the element aluminium. We use aluminium vessels at our houses as well. So aluminium is the third most abundant element in the earth crust. So students, the amount or the proportion of aluminium which is found in the earth crust is very abundant, and that is why, my dear students, we are also very familiar with this element, that is aluminium, the picture of which you all can see in the slide. So my dear students, talking about group 13 in general, boron is a metalloid, whereas aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium, all these four elements are metals. Let us see problem number 3. The values of the first ionization enthalpy of aluminium, silicon and phosphorus are 577, 786 and 1012 kilojoules per mole respectively. Explain the observed trend. So my dear students, you all can see the value for first ionization enthalpy of phosphorus is greater than that of aluminium and silicon. We know that the size of aluminium is greater than that of silicon. Then the size of silicon is greater than that of phosphorus. So students, if we compare all these three, then the size of aluminium will be the greatest and the size of phosphorus will be the lowest, and this is due to the effective nuclear charge. As you go along the period, then the atomic number will go on increasing, but the shell will remain the same. No new shell will be added, and that is why the effective nuclear charge will increase, and that is why the atomic size will decrease. The atomic number of aluminium is 13, the atomic number of silicon is 14 and the atomic number of phosphorus is 15. And all these three elements are having the same valence shell. But if you all see, then the atomic number of phosphorus is more. That is why the effective nuclear charge of phosphorus is more, and that is why the nucleus of phosphorus attract the valence shell or the valence electrons of phosphorus more tightly. And that is why, my dear students, more energy will be required to remove the electrons of phosphorus from its outermost shell. And that is why the ionization enthalpy of phosphorus is observed to be greater as compared to that of aluminium and silicon.